This is the story of a plane which crashed on a mountain caused by controlled flight into terrain, and pilot error. This is the story on how Cebu Pacific Flight 387 crashed. On February 2, 1998, about 99 passengers boarded a flight from Manila to Cagayan de Oro City. There are 5 crew members. There are a total of 104 people on board the plane. The pilots of the plane are Captain Paulo Justo and First Officer Erwin Gola. They are now ready for takeoff. On 9:16 a.m., Cebu Pacific Flight 387 takes off at Ninoy Aquino International Airport, and it's on its way to Cagayan de Oro City. Cebu Pacific Flight 387 is scheduled to land in Cagayan de Oro City at 11 a.m. But then the plane made an unscheduled stopover at Tacloban Airport to deliver a spare tire for another Cebu Pacific aircraft. The plane arrived in Tacloban. The passengers were delayed for Cagayan de Oro because of the unscheduled stopover in Tacloban. The spare tires were delivered for another Cebu Pacific aircraft. The engines were set to idle for a quick turnaround. About 9 minutes later, Cebu Pacific is now on its way to Cagayan de Oro City for their final destination. If the plane did not make a stopover at Tacloban, they would have arrived in Cagayan de Oro City on time. The plane takes off at Tacloban Airport, and now it's on its way to Cagayan de Oro. Cebu Pacific has left Tacloban Airport and they are heading to their final destination. The pilots contact air traffic control at Cagayan de Oro City. They are about 68 kilometers away from the airport. They were now starting to descend. There was poor operational control and lack of training of pilots and dispatchers. The pilots were flying visually and they were not using their instruments, and that is how they were off route to their destination. This is a very huge error that is being done by every pilot. The municipality of Claveria is a place that a fog and bad weathers may happen sometimes. When the plane was getting closer to the mountain, the ground proximity warning system tells the pilots that they are heading for collision course.
Terrain. Pull up. 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 Pull up.
The plane crashed in Mount Sumagaya about 45 kilometers away from the airport. The plane disappears from radar. There are no survivors. About 2 million pesos were given to each family of the victims. 4 years after the tragedy, a memorial shrine of Cebu Pacific Flight 387 was built as a memorial for the victims. For every pilot in training, a moral lesson has already been learned.